Hello and welcome back to Riley's on the Road.
We were in Columbia Falls, Montana for 3 weeks for a full-time families hangout.
Let's check out what happened.
We drove up to Helena, Montana for one night to visit the Capitol. We stopped at the Pickle Barrel sandwich shop on the way. We went over to the Capitol building the next morning. We got a tour on which we visited the old Supreme Court room. I always loved the old artwork and decorating. Then we checked out the Senate and the House of Representatives. We noticed these cool old cowboy hat racks under the gallery seats. It had been a while since our last Capitol, so it was nice to get back into it.
Next day, we drove to Columbia Falls, Montana, and that evening we went to our friends Anton and Sarah's beautiful new house for dinner.
A nice family from the campground invited us to go to Bowman Lake with them. We brought along the girl's friend Minnie. We stopped at a bakery in the middle of nowhere and got some treats. The drive was long and on dirt roads, but once we got there, the view was worth it. On top of the stunning view, the water was clear and cold. They let us borrow their paddleboards, which was so fun. I love paddleboarding and it would be so cool to get some of our own.
One afternoon, we went with the whole big group to Lake McDonald. We went swimming, and we borrowed kayaks from friends, which I'm very grateful for. I love kayaking, so I had an absolutely amazing time. And at one point, a ton of people went out to the middle of the lake on kayaks and paddleboards, which was awesome. On Saturday, Mom, Dad, Melina, and I drove to Fernie, Canada for lunch. It was around 2 hours away and was the first time Melina and I had ever been to Canada. It was a nice little town and we got some lunch. Some of the food was a little bit different from what we considered it though. Like my Shirley Temple was grenadine with orange juice instead of Sprite. It was delicious. On the way back, we stopped at the store to buy a ton of real sugar, not high fructose corn syrup, soda.
The whole reason we were up in Montana was for the full-time family's West Glacier hangout. About 20 families met up at our campground for a week of community and fun. After all summer of hardly seeing friends, this hangout was much needed. One of the activities was outdoor games. We played kickball, hot potato, and saw who could get the hula hoop around the circle without letting go of each other's hands. There was also teen and tween games with get to know each other bingo, an obstacle course for tweens Ashton and I helped with, and tug-of-war. And of course, we had to play the classic manhunt, which is like hide-and-go-seek tag every night. We went on a group hike with a bunch of friends to Avalanche Lake in Glacier. It was 3 miles up and back, but it felt like the miles flew by because it was so fun. The creek and the lake were pretty, and we put our feet in. It was a lot of work and many hours each way to get 80 people on shuttles to the trailhead, but we had fun anyway.
We drove 1,050 miles to Grand Island, Nebraska for my Nani's funeral. Even though it was a sad occasion to get together, it was great to see everyone. My Nani was one of the strongest women I've ever known, and it was such a blessing to know her and to be a part of her family. While we were in Grand Island, we went to our family's lake that we call the Sand Pit and enjoyed time with family jumping off the dock and playing football in the water.
Jump, Justin! Wow!
Afterward, we went to the hotel's pool as well. On Monday, we headed back to Montana, and once we arrived in Glacier, we went to the visitor center and got Junior Ranger badges. After that, we drove to meet friends to go on a hike. On the way, we saw a mama black bear and her 3 cubs. It was awesome to watch them all bound down to the lake. We also saw some lakes and waterfalls. Once we got there, we saw some bighorn sheep on the mountain near the parking lot, then headed up. It was a 3-mile round-trip hike, steadily uphill. While we were going up, we saw a mountain goat, and it followed us as we continued to hike. Once we reached the overlook, it was beautiful. It was just getting to be sunset, which with the clouds, mountains, and lake was amazing. Casey, George G., John Oliver, and I went down exploring a little further down, which was very fun. Right as we were leaving, we saw a herd of bighorn sheep. There were 7, and one was super close to us but didn't care at all. It was so cool to see them that close. On the way back, it was very pretty and we got to see some more bighorn. The sunset from the parking lot and on the drive back was stunning. A while down the road, we saw a black bear and her cub. They crossed the road right in front of our cars. They were so cute. A bit further down the road, we had a male black bear cross in front of our car. It was awesome to be able to see them.
We went on one last hike to John Lake. First, we saw some pretty waterfalls, Sacred Dancing Falls and McDonald Falls. The water was so pretty and it was really peaceful.
Water is more powerful than
There was some construction on the trail, so we had to reroute, which ended up us going really far on a different trail, but we figured it out and got to John's Lake. It was more of a pond, but oh well. We went to get ice cream afterwards.
While the rest of my family went to John's Lake, I was generously taken by my friend and her family to a hike 2.5 hours from our campground. It was 9 miles long and absolutely amazing. So fun to do with friends. It went around Josephine Lake, through some more forest to Grinnell Lake, then back again. During the hike, we saw 4 different moose. One was right on the trail, so we bushwhacked around it. Then we crossed over a pretty river over a swinging bridge, and after a little more walking, arrived. The lake was 100% as teal in real life as it is in the picture. I wouldn't have believed it if I wasn't there. It was gorgeous in every sense of the word, with a little island we walked on and a glacial waterfall down the side of the mountain. On the way back, it was golden hour, and the reflections were stunning, and we even saw a beaver. We got back just before it got dark, pretty much perfect timing.
We caught up on stickers: Rocky Mountain, Golden Spike, Grand Teton, Yellowstone, the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center, and the Polbridge Bakery. Anton put the Montana sticker on our map.
RV park fees are always cheaper by the month, and we intended to stay almost that long, so we booked it. It was our most expensive stay yet. Typically, a 2-week stay costs the same as a month, so we took advantage of it. When we stay someplace longer, we tend to spend less in fuel and dining out. And while we were near Glacier, we spent most of our time with our free pass. Unfortunately, while we were in Montana, David's grandma, who we called Nani, passed away. We 100% wanted to be present for and participate in her service, so we rented a car and drove 1,200 miles to be there. Made a record driving 1,058 miles one day. I wouldn't recommend it.
Glacier is such a beautiful national park, and it was nice meeting some new friends. See you next time on Riley's on the Road. Bye!